How we doing? How is everybody doing? Let's get these things in here, get a little bit of a better view for everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How is everybody doing? Excellent. Just getting my camera set up over here. It's great to be able to hang out with everybody on a fabulous Sunday, drink some tea, have a good time. Glad to see everybody here. For those of you who are just joining, I'm Jesse. I'm the founder of Jesse's Tea House. I run this channel, baby. Shabbat Shalom. How you doing, Denver? How you doing? Welcome to everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend. It's great to be able to see everybody. We're just starting up and about to drink some tea. Probably stream for about an hour or so. I was going to be having tea now anyway. I just spent the afternoon watching the Patriots. Oh, God, they're so bad. They're so bad. I wish they were even, like, the defense is good. The defense is good enough. It really made it to the end of the game, and they lost. So now that the Patriots have lost, I can finally actually come on here. Shelly says hello from Australia. Welcome, friends from Australia. What time is it there? It's probably pretty late, I'm guessing. Howdy over here. I got a couple channels going. I got YouTube over here. I got TikTok over here, and I have Instagram over here. So we're going a couple different channels over here, but hopefully be able to do it. Noah says, thanks for the inspiration. Getting back into tea from Northern Canada. Cheers, friends in Canada. How far north? Like north? You know, we had somebody from Nunavut buy some tea once and send it up there. And apparently everything up there is so expensive anyway, it just doesn't matter. Like everything just is expensive. Hey, from San Francisco, welcome everybody. Where are we in from? Good afternoon over here. It's Shots family. Afternoon, Jesse in chat. Good afternoon, everybody. Drinking some buggy tea. Having the bug bit Oolong, perhaps. Canada, hello from London. We got people from all over the world. We're having a good tea time. Indiana, Montana, up over here. Mark, oh, I remember Mark. You were on our Discord. We talked about the tea scene in Montana. Blue Buckets, Los Angeles. You're here with me. Greetings from downtown LA. Good LA friends. No thick tiger cups. I'll get the tiger cups. Although no, I got it. Here's the thing. I'm gonna get the cups. So, here's the deal with the cups. I showed everybody the thick tiger cups, and maybe partially because they got banned on TikTok or whatever. But this is by the way, these are our cup sets. We have 2 new cup sets in. Like, check out how awesome that box is. I'm like super happy with how the boxes came out. And then inside, this was the Fat Tiger cup set. So you can see all the different fat tigers. Like, look at that. How cool is that? Oh my God, they're so fat. But we sold out of these. I sold out of them in like 48 hours. I prepped them. We spent 6 months prepping them and packing them. They sold out. Well, we were selling them Black Friday, so it wasn't the entire stock that sold out. But from the time that video came out to the time we were out, it was like 48 hours or a little bit more. So we will be getting more in. We've already shipped more, but they're not going to be in before Christmas, unfortunately. But what I can do, and what I should do, is show you the second cup set, which is our calligraphy bird cup set. And these are gorgeous also. You guys can take a look at the different calligraphy bird cups. I'll be making these today. The birds are right up there. If you see the birds perched on the calligraphy. Oh my God. Questions from Sarcasm over here on YouTube. Hey Jesse, I've noticed people on the Discord talking about yellow tea. Have you ever had it? And what's your opinions on it? I have had it. It's kind of like a greenish, oolongish type thing. It's expensive. That's kind of the reason why I don't stock it. It's expensive, and I kind of feel like people's money generally can be better put to use on other teas. But that's, again, just my personal opinion, and so I'm always on the lookout for a good yellow tea person. The other reason I don't stock any is because I didn't have a yellow tea person when I moved when COVID hit and I got stuck back in the States, so I don't wind up having one now. So I need to find a new person. The calligraphy on the cup sets, I'll show you here. There's 4 cups. They have 4 characters on them. The top one, you gotta rotate this guy back in. The top 2 is Gan'en. So Gan'en means gratefulness or thankfulness. So in Chinese, the holiday we call Thanksgiving, they call Gan'en thankfulness holiday, Gan'en. So the first 2 are Gan'en, and Shede is like willing or able. So it's sort of like grateful to be here and willing and able to be a good tea person and a tea host today. So that's what we're going with, and that's actually what we'll drink from today. So I might as well keep them here. And for tea, let's think about what we're going to be having for tea. I'll have this bottom one over here just so we can have the most of the cups kind of in there. But yeah, it's been good. Questions over here. Hello, I think them thick boys, them the tigers. Questions, any news for a European-based shop from Flatray? I can ship to Europe now. If you're in Europe, I can ship over there. It'll take a little bit more time because it's coming from the US. And you need to use a credit or debit card, but I can ship to Europe. I'm hoping to be able to open a European distribution center this coming year. It's just kind of one of these things that always winds up taking longer than I want just because I like drinking tea and I hate dealing with import laws. So I'm having to relearn or like learn essentially how all the rules work, and it's just like, I know I need to do it for you guys. It's just boring, so figuring it out. NG Mitchell says the sampler being out was a bum out, but I'll be overseas for a couple weeks, so I have to tell myself patience is a virtue. Yeah, we are working as hard to get the samplers over as soon as possible. We're just having so many problems with it's the same thing of like shipping, packaging, like, you know, all of these things rely on other people doing their jobs properly, and we did plenty of lead time. We sent these 3 months ago. They're still not here. This has been probably the most cursed shipment in the history of the tea house. Just everything has gone wrong with it. So once we're able to fully onboard it, we'll be heading out. So very, very good. Questions over here. Jesse, can you set some fools straight on the R for our cub Reddits? They're super anal about storing teas and maintain temperature and humidity. You can do that. I honestly think that it's not where I would spend my time and energy. It's not that, again, a lot of this is also personal taste. It's like, if you like, there's gonna be no one way of storing tea that produces everybody's perfect taste. In general, if the tea is exposed to air, like over here, and it's not around any strong smells or whatever, it'll age. And I've had my teas age in my personal collection. I have some teas that I bought in China when I moved there in 2012, and then they just kind of stay in the collection. If I taste them a couple of years apart, they're aging. So it's moving. So other questions, by the way, if I missed your question, I apologize. I got a lot of questions over here on the YouTube. Let me figure this out. Over here. I watched you here and there for a while and currently looking at getting the new cat cup infusing combo, the cat cup infuser combo. Are they limited quantity? No, those should still all be in stock. We did a reshipment of them. If they're out of stock, we'll be getting a new shipment in soon. Those should be in stock. The cat, what may be happening is that the sampler right now, we're still onboarding the new samplers. So the combo option might not be available until we get the new samplers onboarded. But it's gonna be available. We have the cat cups, we have all the samplers. It's gonna be a good time. Let me get some tea and then I'll keep answering your guys' questions. For tea today, so many teas, I don't know what to drink. Maybe I'll drink a sample. I have a whole bunch of these samples. I'm gonna try just a sampler. What am I gonna try? Yeah, we'll try this. This is a purple robe instead of a big red robe. We'll try a sampler of this guy. Give this a try. Always try to try new teas. Even for me, it's very important. I keep trying new teas, so I have good stuff for you coming in the future. So we don't know exactly how good it'll be, but the leaves look quite nice, actually. This looks like some sort of a variation on a Da Hong Pao. Da Hong Pao would be big red robe. This is big purple robe. Give that a try. There we go. Bam, bam, bam. Take a look at there, everybody. And by the way, I apologize if I missed your questions. Feel free to repost them. I'm trying to get through everybody. Moth and Flame says, more comedy soon. Can't wait for the Xiaoma episode. I shot a podcast episode with Xiaoma NYC yesterday here at the Tea House, which is my apartment. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. He's a great dude, and very excited to be able to share that with everybody. If you don't know, I launched a podcast. It's called Tea Time with Jesse. You can search it up on all the platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, all these places. I'm going to be posting it on my main account as well. So very excited to get the podcast coming. Starberry says, any standalone Gaiwan styles coming in the near future? I will be launching a dragon-themed Gaiwan set for Chinese New Year in January. That will also have the option to buy the Gaiwan and the Gaiwan plate by itself. They're super nice. I don't want to do a spoiler right here, even though they're right over there. I don't want to do a spoiler now, but there will be an option to be able to buy the Dragon Gaiwan by itself, as well as part of a set. So that'll be really, really nice. Lots of questions over here on YouTube. Am I in China? No, I'm actually in Los Angeles right now. I'm going to be going back to China for the spring tea season, though. And I was kind of hoping to figure out a way to go over in January, but things have been so busy with the tea house and we've had so many new orders that it's actually been great, but it's mean that the time that I thought I would have for vacation, I'm now going to be like hiring people and trying to figure out a way to bring on more people to the team so that I can then be free to go to China in the spring when the teas come out. Questions over here from Dispose. When trying teas for potential samplers, do you try multiple batches of the same tea at different times, or are they pretty consistent and just one batch is needed to tell if it's good? That's a really good question. So the actual answer to that is that if you trust your tea people enough, their goal is to give you a representative sample, and their goal is to be able to find, either they are the farmers and their goal is to be able to put together a consistent product, or their job is to be basically connect me to the farmers, and they have to have the right guanxi, or like connections with the farmers to be able to ensure that the product comes out consistently. One of the reasons why it's just such a crapshoot to sell on Amazon is that it's almost never the tea farmers themselves selling on Amazon. It's some randos you don't know who have like found whatever tea cakes they want and they're just putting them up at whatever price they decide to put them up at. You'll never hear from them again. If you don't like it, they're not building their business and reputation off of doing a good job with this. So that kind of is like the vetting process for multiple things. I will usually get a larger sample. Like this is, for this one, I have this one little bag, but I know these people and I can ask them for more samples if I need them. And then for the people that I know and that I've worked with for like 10 years or whatever, you know, I'm not too worried about those samples being inconsistent from batch to batch. Also, a lot of times the way that tea works is like, if we're, for instance, our 8-year tea oranges, which are now 9-year, I should rename them. But those were all made and packed at one time. So they were made and packed at one time. They're not like remaking them. Like tea is picked, it's processed, and it comes out in a batch. This also means that sometimes we run out. So like we had the 2005 Langhe aged pu'er that we had on the shop and was part of, I think, the first subscription box. I restocked it once, but then when it was gone, it was gone. I just can't get it anymore. So that's one of the things about the consistency that's kind of important. Cinnamon Zen, speaking of consistency, this is on TikTok. Are there any that you just look for that might, or this is on Instagram, that you might look for that doesn't have the same type of consistency from harvest to harvest, but uniqueness is its strength? The only thing I can think of there were the danzhu, the single tree teas that I had on the tea mountain in Yunnan. So Sister I, and maybe we'll include one of these in the next master box. But Sister I will pick certain trees that are particularly good and then harvest that entire tree and process it as one small batch. And the result of this is that each tree, based off of literally the soil it was in and the amount of air that it got and the height and all that sort of stuff, each tree will have its own different flavor to it. Normally, for a single source tea, you would take the tea crop from entire area of trees and then process them together. And they do that because it's faster. Like you process a whole bunch at once rather than one tree at a time. But those single tree teas have a lot of variability in them. They're all going to be processed as, say, raw pu'er, but amongst raw pu'ers, you can have that. I don't usually focus too much on those though, because a lot of people in the American tea scene or the Western tea scene, you need to drink a lot of different raw pu'ers before you can start to tell the difference between a tree and another tree, or even a mountain and another mountain. It's not something that most tea drinkers in the West care about. So it is definitely something to you know, that does happen though. Also, year to year, even the same mountain will have different distinctiveness. So we're gonna try this this purple robe. Give it a shot here. Ow, too hot. It just occurred to me this is actually not in a good position for making tea. You have that over here maybe. Still have people able to see the teacups though, be nice. Or actually, can I put them like here? No, that's not gonna work. I want people to know that we have the teacups. By the way, the calligraphy bird teacup sets are still in stock, even though we sold out of the tigers. So making the tea here. For this sort of tea, this sort of oolong, I'm actually gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna do something that I saw in at the Jingyunfu tea house that I was in, that I visited in New York this last week. Instead of pouring out this first steep, they kept this steep to drink at the end of the session. And luckily I have plenty of teacups. And so I'm first gonna give this a little wash out, as you show with any new teacups. By the way, how pretty are those? Very, very nice. Gold. Get them gold. Gonna put this over here. And I'm gonna pour out this first steep into this cup, and then we'll have this cup to drink at the end of the session. So after the tea is kind of weakened, we'll be able to go back to that first blast of tea and see what it's like. It'll be cooled down, but it'll still be quite nice. Here we are. Excellent. That is good. This is the, yeah, making sure I know what I'm drinking here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. By the way, I apologize if I am missing your questions while I'm making the tea. Always feel free to repost questions. Always happy to get people their questions. Here we go. Smells like a da hong pao. A little bit weaker than I would expect those leaves to smell like, but again, this is a sample. So no guarantee, oh, there we go. Yeah, that now it's coming out. No guarantee that this is good. This is just a sample that's been sent to me. It looks a little cloudy to me, but it does have some nice golden color to it. So let's see what it's like. There we go. Cheers, everybody. By the way, if you're interested in breaking out your own tea set and sharing tea time, ooh, that's nice, actually. Ooh, very, very fruity, although very fruity. It tastes like plums. I really like this. I'm gonna take notes on my tea sampler thing. Every time I try samples, I have this big running notes document on my iPad, and I try to keep tabs of all the different teas that I try. iCloud, search, samples. This is under 2023 tea samples. I'm gonna have to start a new one soon. Tea, yeah. Herbal, and then zi ya pao. Here we go. Very good. Purple robe. Excellent. And then I just want to take down my notes. I'm tasting kind of like plum and a bit tannic, but maybe I'm going to be able to back off the steep time a bit and get rid of that. So very good. Questions. We have more questions over here. Chloe DeMario says hello, everybody. Hello. Very cool. Jonathan Threlp, oh, welcome back, says, glad I didn't get to sleep before the stream. Just finished dinner and gonna get ready for some more tea. There we go. Cheers. Welcome to everybody who's joining in. Very, very cool. Very cool. Kid One says, wow, love your desk. I assume, I don't know, you mean the tea table here or my desk over here? I don't think you can see the desk. But the tea table is quite nice. I'm liking this is the Bluestone tea table. Verna says, did not think you also do tea notes. By the way, did you see us starting starting tea college reviews on the Discord? I did not see any tea college reviews. What are tea college reviews? You're reviewing like different tea clubs at different colleges. There are tea clubs at colleges, I know. We even made a sale, I think, to an Australian tea club. Like the tea club got funding from the school to buy a bunch of tea tables and stuff, and so we sent them all to Australia, which is great. Questions over here, says over there. Oh, thank you very much. I got the, I have my, just like a little desk set up over here. This is like my apartment is just where I do everything. I just get everything done, work, play, all done in the same apartment. Tea, all in the same apartment. Some random rando says enjoying some milk oolong with you. Cheers. I love the milk oolong. Angel Runkle says, love your work, Jesse. Thank you so much for helping us on tea journeys. I appreciate it. Just got a bunch of new tea stuff in my first tea session and had my first tea session last week. Cheers. Thank you so much. We'll give you a little pour on the tea pets who are blocked behind the tea equipment. That is a very faux pas of me. Cheers over there. Let me know by the way, if anybody makes an order during the live stream, let me know and I will give you a tea pour on a tea pet of your choice. Very, very happy. Questions over here. Do you, Flat Ray says, do you have any plan for green tea for the upcoming spring? Will you consider any Japanese tea? Can spring tea be used for more infusions or lose power after a few infusions? That's from the YouTube questions. Great question. So I do have plans for the green tea. It's not 100%, but I'm 95% sure that I will be going to China to hang with our farmers and like be part of the green tea picking. So I'm gonna hopefully be able to show you what that whole process is like as they go through, getting the leaves, picking them, processing them into green tea, and then potentially even starting to pack them for us. If we can get everything done in time, we may even be able to have our packaging like ready there when I'm there in China so that they can start packing them right away. It's also possible that we won't be to that level of coordination, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to go to China. And I do hope to get Japanese teas on the site eventually, but I don't know any Japanese tea farmers. And so that's, I think, my big advantage, at least for the teas that I do have on the site, is that a lot of them I know the farmers directly, or I know people who have been working with those farmers for 10, 20 years. So it really is, I believe, just straight up better than you're going to get from like, any given tea company out there. I also know China pretty well, and I speak Chinese, and I'm able to negotiate with the tea people. So it's going to be that's kind of where what I know about the teas. But I'm hopeful to be able to get some green tea from Japan onto the site eventually. I'm hoping maybe in the summer to go to Japan if I can figure it out a way to be able to get there. And find people who will be able to help take me around to the tea areas. So let's try the second steep here. Does look less cloudy this time. Actually, that looks clearer. That looks quite nice. I think maybe it's just like the first steep, it's a little bit there. Bash Point asks over here on the Instagram what we are drinking. We are drinking Purple Robe, Big Purple Robe oolong tea. It's kind of like a different varietal of the Big Red Robe. And this is a sample that I got. It's not on the website, but I regularly am trying tea samples to prepare for future subscription boxes. So, There's beautiful music, by the way. Thank you. I got my iPad playing some Guzheng over here. Question says, Charlie Chocolate Factory, will you ever restock the Tiger set? Yes, we've already restocked it. The next shipment is coming like Christmas week. So I cannot guarantee at all that it will be available as a Christmas gift, but we will be restocking them in general. So cheers, thank you. More questions over here, lots of times. Maybe it's time for a tea acquisition tour on TikTok. That's a good idea. I mean, if you go back to May and June, the 2 months that I was in China for the whole of May and the whole of June, if you scroll all the way back and watch my reels, you'll be able to see this whole process I went through of going to the tea mountain and picking out the new teas and going to the tea market. It was a lot of fun. So next time I'm back in China, we'll definitely be doing that. Questions from Hot Garbage Bot says, is it bad that every time you say puar, it sounds like puar and I chuckle like a child? No, that means that you just have not had the life beaten out of you by society. That is the correct response. Question. Nina Lei Chen 12 says, can you make a video about herbal teas? Herbal tea could be anything. That's part of the challenge, is that like a lot of times people will say, I had this sleepy time tea. What do you think about it? I'm like, I have no idea. There's no like definition of herbal tea. Basically anything that's herbal or leafy or anything that's not a tea leaf tea. I mean, technically tea leaf tea is herbal tea. But anything that's not a tea leaf generally is not in the Chinese tea tradition. There are obviously non-tea leaf things that people drink in China, but the sort of tea tradition as it has come down through the years and done by the people who are really into tea rarely touches on herbal teas. So there is a lot out there about herbal teas, but it's hard for me to do because one, I just know less about it, and two, the people I know who know tea know less about it, and three, it's just so broad. But we are going to be launching our first herbal and flower tea, hopefully in January, if not in January, in February. So we're very excited to get that out to you guys. There is a lot of good stuff out there. I just happen to know less about it, and I've had to like learn more about it over the last year or two, which is very fun. Great questions over here. Slammin' Sam Barron, who I assume is not the same Sam Barron who went to Chinese class with me in high school, says, how did you first come into contact with Chinese tea? I studied abroad in China, and when I was studying abroad in China, I took these very intensive language courses that required me to sign, we called it a language pledge. I had to sign a contract that said I wouldn't be speaking any English outside of calling my parents and emergency situations. And so I was always on the lookout for fun stuff that I could do in Beijing that would not require me to break that language pledge. So can't really go to a bar because it's going to be full of a bunch of foreigners and they're going to want to speak English, or young Chinese people that also want to speak English. And I found out that if you go to the wholesale tea market in Beijing, they just sit there all day and they just talk all day. So if you want to learn Chinese, it's actually a fantastic place to be, because it's like you'll sit there all day, they make you great tea for free, you get to hang out, you learn about Chinese culture. It was a lot of fun. And I'd say that was probably the real moment when I was first got into tea, was hanging out at the tea market in Beijing. And then, since then, it's obviously happened, gone over a long period of time. By the way, check out these the calligraphy bird cup set. If you can see the bird on there at the top of the character, that's what we're looking for. Very nice. And I love the gold on the bottom too. I don't know if you can see the gold on the bottom. We have like 2 gold rings there. They're quite thick and gold at the top. Love it. Love it. Question from Starberry, reposting in case, now it just scrolled up. Okay, I'm gonna get you. Says over here, Starberry says, reposting in case you missed it, but Shiran in Kagoshima Prefecture is known for producing green tea. You can start there. So this is actually part of the challenge, is anywhere that people know they can do tea, they can take advantage of people that don't know the prices, the specifics. So if anywhere is known for making tea, I'm actually less likely to be able to go there by myself with no resources and be able to get the tea, because they know that people who don't know anything will just kind of go to the places that are famous for tea. You see it in China as well with, if you go to Laobanjiang, or if you go to, whatever Wuyi Mountain, there's a lot of mid-range stuff that people will try to sell as high-range stuff, or low-range stuff people try to sell as mid-range stuff. So the challenge of actually getting good quality tea to you guys at an affordable price is, there needs to be some sort of advantage, like either the farmers, or you speak the language really well and are able to get through a lot of those things. And so what I'm looking for in Japan is more like, either a really good translator or somebody that knows the tea people well enough that by the time I try 2 or 3 or 4 different places, any number of those have actually kind of been vetted in the price quality ratio is where I'm looking for. Because I take very seriously the fact that everybody respects my taste on tea, and I don't want to blow that by giving people anything less than like really good stuff. And so for China and for Taiwan, I feel very confident in being able to taste that. Even for things like I'm hoping maybe one day to go to Vietnam and try the Vietnamese ancient tree tea, because the part of China that has the really good wild tea trees borders Vietnam and Thailand, and these places will have really high quality tea, and they produce it in the Chinese style, unlike the Japanese who have their own different style. So if I were to taste a Chinese style tea that was grown in Vietnam, even though I don't speak Vietnamese, I've had so much ancient tree tea from that part of the world. It's only a couple miles across the border. I'd feel pretty comfortable in being able to say, like, I don't care what price they say it is, like, this is what I think is worth, and then we can bring it over. So it's very, very fun. Shwesla says, I hope next year European fans can buy your stuff. The European people can buy everything right now. Go on the website, use a credit or debit card so that you, because you can't use PayPal, but I can ship to Europe right now. We ship to Europe all the time. It's a little bit more expensive for shipping, but if you choose the slower shipping options, you'll be able to get a pretty good deal still. Questions over here from Hot Garbage Bot on TikTok. Do you engage in any cheap or canned instant options? I mean, I like boba. It's like, it's not because I like tea. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like a completely different thing. But like, I'll have a black sugar boba tea sometime. And then I don't ever do any canned teas. I mean, I like tea resin. So I think we're sold out of it again, but the tea resin is basically my on-the-go tea. Is the little tiny piece of tea that big, but you can dissolve it in warm water and create a whole pitcher of tea. That would be my sort of instant tea that I would actually drink. Questions over here, great questions over here. Slam and Sam Marin says, when will you start selling tea cloth? Very soon. We have made tea towels. The tea towels are being shipped over to the States. I made them in 4 different colors. And we will eventually start giving away free tea towels with our tea sets. I can't be 100% sure when that is because we've already started packing some of them, but I don't know which ones have them in them. So they're gonna get to the warehouse, and for a little while, it'll be a little bit random whether you get a tea towel or not. But it's definitely fun. Yeah, Verena says over here, I've been in Germany and ordered multiple times already. We have lots of great tea drinkers in Germany, apparently. I had no idea that Germans, I don't know if it's Germans are really into high level tea or the Germans that follow me are into high level tea. It's probably more the second. Very, very cool. Baby Blueberry says, a random question, what do you do with batches of tea you don't like? I don't usually get a lot of any tea I don't like. I will occasionally get samples of tea that I don't like. And occasionally I'll get big samples of tea I don't like they'll send me 250 grams, which is a lot of tea, and then I don't like it. And honestly, it kind of just starts filling up boxes around the house. And it's kind of tricky because it's like, I have better teas, so I don't even really want to give it away because I'm like, I don't want to give people a gift essentially, and then it's like not good, but you know, I'm still figuring out. Faceless Freedom on TikTok says, what other platforms are you streaming on? I have YouTube over here, TikTok, and Instagram. So basically, if I'm already streaming, I might as well set up another phone or two. Due to a weird quirk, I have 3 phones right now. I need to return one of them to AT&T, but for now I have 3. Questions. Just some rando says, I don't care what anyone thinks. I still love peace tea in Arizona, no matter how much great tea I drink. It's a different experience or a different purpose. I agree with that. I mean, like, it's like there's, I think if you like something, you never want to get to the point where you get so into something, you start disliking the stuff you actually like. Like you don't trust your own taste on stuff. And I think there is something to be said that if you haven't tried a whole bunch of different things, then what you think you like isn't actually what you like. It's just that you haven't pushed your limits at all to discover what you may like. But if you've tried a whole bunch of stuff and you find you still like it, we don't need to be justifying it. Like if you like it, you like it. So cheers. Welcome. By the way, if anybody's just joining, I'm Jesse, I'm a tea guy. Here to answer any tea questions you have. And if you are also new to the channel or a more recent follower and don't know, I have a tea store where I have tea pets, tea sets, teas, teacups, teacup sets, the stuff I'm drinking in right now. All that stuff is up on the shop. So, very nice. Very nice. Liking this. I'm digging this. I want to find the same tea. I'm going to go and ask the tea people if I can get this tea but aged 3 or 4 years. Because I like it, but it's a little bit too green for me. So if you go in like a regular Da Hong Pao, the leaves are very dark, and they were very dark when I made them. But as they're opening up, you see it's a little bit green. And that's not bad, it just means it's young. And so the young leaves have a little bit, I really like that darker, maltier taste that comes from the aged, darker oolongs. And if I wanted a greener tea, I would just rather have a fresher oolong like an Ali Shan. So this is kind of caught in the middle for my taste. It's not bad at all. It's just, again, for my taste, I kind of like having one or the other. This middle mixer is not bad. And actually, it seems like it's getting better. Like the tea quality is getting cleaner as we go into future steeps, which is kind of cool. Very nice. Michael says, very nice. Bryce says, I definitely have an issue trying to justify everything, even though I bought a whole set and a travel set already along with tea. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to drink Gongfu tea every single day. I drink Gongfu tea basically every single day, but you don't need to. It's not like it's bad if you don't. Like, do it when you're doing it. So, Bash Point says, still roasted though, just young. Yeah, that's what I think. It also could be unevenly roasted. That would be another reason why some leaves are darker than others. But it doesn't taste that way. It tastes like what it's supposed to taste like. It's just a younger Da Hong Pao. I'd like a little bit more age on it, I think. Whoa, questions. Whoa, a lot of questions over here on the YouTube. Over here, we have a question over here. How hard is it running a physical tea shop where you sit down and order a pot of tea? Is it infeasible in the West after the pandemic shuttered a lot of the businesses? That's from Roz. I'm sure the pandemic didn't help, but just the fact is, you know, everybody in America at least knows that rent is expensive everywhere. Just the price of the important stuff in life, you know, whatever, healthcare, education, childcare, you know, rent, everything is just mad expensive right now. So it's like, you might have people that come into a tea house, like how much are they going to buy that's really going to make it work, you know? Like if you have to pay you have to pay the rent, you have to pay your employee's salary, you have to pay employees' health care, you have to buy the tea and ship it around the world so it can get there. Like and I think that a lot of people are not comfortable in America charging the amount of money you would need to charge. I went to the Jin Yunfu tea house in New York, and I sat down and had one pot of Da Hong Pao, and it was Wu Yishan Rou Gui, not Da Hong Pao, Rou Gui. They charge $35 for the pot and to sit down and have somebody make the tea for you. Honestly, that's probably cheap. If you have a good tea person, like if I were to sit and make tea for an hour, like how much is an hour of my time worth? Even without the tea, even without the real estate and all that sort of stuff. It's hard in the West to be able to do that. The types of like shops that you think of, like cafes and stuff like that, they have lots of people coming in and out. You would need a lot of people to be able to make that shop work, and there's not a lot of people that know how to make Gongfu tea for people. It's more of an experiential thing. So if it's experiential, the price goes up, not many people are gonna wanna do it. People will stick to their $6 or $7 boba instead of a $30 or $40 or $50 a person tea experience. My hope is that I will discover some magical way of solving this problem, because I would love to have an in-person tea house. But I feel like it's hard. It's definitely hard, and it's not something that's going to happen overnight. And you know, in the same magic of the internet that allows me to share so much tea stuff with everybody is the opposite for an in-person store, where if I were doing this as a way to drive people to a store in LA, you know, we have all these amazing people online who love tea, and none of them, or very few of them, are within a short drive of LA. So it's pretty tricky. In China, A lot of higher end tea houses are really more like social clubs, almost like you'd think of like a country club or a, like an airport lounge or something like that. Like people pay a lot of money to join, not literally to drink the tea, although there is tea, but it has meeting spaces. It provides them a place to be able to invite their friends for parties. It's a place where they can go and hang out and impress people. That sort of model I don't think will work in America just because there aren't that many people who are willing to pay country club prices to be part of a tea house. But maybe I'm wrong, but I'm guessing that that's the case, unfortunately, even though I kind of wish it were more like that. Questions over here. I'd be there for an LA tea shop grand opening for sure. I'm thinking of doing some pop-ups. That might be doable. Instead of paying for 365 days of rent, paying for 1 day of rent at a time or two. I think that would be fun. So that's definitely a thing. Hot garbage bucket. Let me just interject. We do high tea on weekends in Chicago. You might get a market there. It might get market here. I think there's definitely some market. It's cool to hear that people are coming out for it. I think there's definitely a market for it. I just think, as a business owner now, I think it's good that people get healthcare with their job. I mean, I prefer that the country just gave people healthcare because it seems bizarre to put that weight on the employer, especially now as an employer. Like I'm trying to think of like I have people that I might want to bring on full time, but then there are laws. I would have to pay for everybody's healthcare. That makes the tea more expensive. I had to pay for my own healthcare. These are good things overall. Like we definitely want people having healthcare. But it makes you need a lot of cash to do that sort of thing, and so it's tricky. What are you doing in LA? Boston is great this time of year from Denver. I was just back in Boston for Thanksgiving. I just saw everybody. I was back there a week ago. I was in Boston and New York for the last couple of days. I just got back to to LA on the last day of November, whenever that was, a couple days ago. People say I would love an LA tea pop-up. If you're in LA, make sure you're on the Discord. We have an LA sub Discord channel. I'm definitely going to be sharing it out. So very, very cool. David Johnstone says, hey Jesse, I'm going to China this summer and your videos were one of the main inspirations for me to learn Chinese for 2 years. It's amazing. Cheers, man. I hope you enjoy your time in China. Go to Maliandao, go to the wholesale tea market if you're in Beijing. Where are you going to be in China? I hope you enjoy your trip. It's going to be great. I'm so glad that the borders are open again. I know it's still hard to get there because the flights they haven't reopened all the flights, but it's still just like I'm just glad things are opening up again because it sucked so hard. Questions over here from Jonathan Thorup says, meanwhile, you got free healthcare and education in Denmark. It helps a lot. It makes everything easier to plan. It's like a weird quirk of history in the US that employers pay for healthcare. It made sense at the time that it was done. It doesn't really make that much sense now. I think a real argument would be about how much healthcare and how much it costs and how good, like there are real arguments to be had there, but there's no real reason why the employer should be paying the healthcare. It means that people don't leave jobs they should leave because they're worried about dying. If we had a better healthcare system, then people would be more willing to be entrepreneurs, they'd be more willing to be artists, they'd be more willing to take a risk in general rather than sticking with their job because they don't want to die. It's pretty crazy. And Jeanette says, putting healthcare on employers depresses the U.S. economy. Public health is a public asset and should be publicly paid. Hear, hear. I agree with that. Very fun. Wow, it's Peter says, what's your thoughts on Shomei white tea? I love Shomei. I have a Shomei Mandarin peel white tea up on the site. I also have in my personal collection behind here, I drank it yesterday, I have a 2007 Shomei. It's not on the website, but that was just in my personal tea collection in Beijing. And I had that yesterday. It was so good. It's definitely, I like Shomei. I think that Shomei, I got into tea at a time in my life when I didn't have a lot of money. And so I drank a lot of Shomei because it's one of the best teas you can get quality for price. Because what happens is they grow really good tea leaves, and the tea leaves come with 1 bud and 2 leaves. And what they do with white tea is they take the bud And they have the tea that's just the buds, and they call that Silver Needle by Hao Yinzhen. And the Silver Needle white tea sells for a lot of money because it's very fragrant, it's very sweet, it's really a great experience, but it's expensive. And then they're left with these leaves with no bud, and they throw them in. In a big pile. In the end, they have a big pile of shomei, and shomei is that white tea that has, you can get really good quality leaves. The problem with shomei is that it's very strong flavor and not a lot of fragrance because they don't have any of the buds. But I balance that. That's why I have the Mandarin peel shomei. So high quality shomei, aged Mandarin peel. That combination, you have that scent coming now from the Mandarin peel, from the chenpi, and mixed with the good flavor from the shomei, really great. Also, it means that it's easier to buy old shomei because you can find it. So I'm a big fan of shomei in the same way I'm not as much of a fan of yellow tea. It's expensive. It's not kind of worth the money. I almost like shomei is in one of my minds. I really like shomei. Very, very cool. Zenit said, I would attend if you had a pop-up in Europe. I would love to go to Europe. My hope is this year I will be able to open a European facility. And if I can open a European distribution center, then I kind of want to just go on like a road trip of Europe and hang with whoever, if I have any tea followers in Europe and you got a spare bedroom and I can come to your town and you'll show me around, like I would love to do that. That sounds like a ton of fun. Especially because I really have not spent that much time in Europe in my life. I've made one big trip to Europe last year, which would be a lot of fun. This is a good chance to show you guys my foam packaging, which should protect the tea, and it did. There we go. We have this custom foam. This seems like a little thing, but it's not. It keeps the thing safe. Every time we come out with these sets, we have to make a custom foam cutting of the exact size of the teacup, and that allows us to be able to place our teacups in there and keep them safe during shipping. And obviously comes with the top on it. But like, what do you guys think of these boxes though? Like, I know it's like not sexy to talk about the box, but like, I'm like so happy with how these came out. Oh my God. They're like, it's, again, we have these on the site, the calligraphy bird cup sets that we're drinking with right now. Good gift, 48 bucks. 48 bucks for the set. Good gift. Just saying. Very good gift. Very fun. Yeah, bless you, Jesse. Thank you so much. Barely got to try some of the Mandarin sometime. Definitely got to try it. Segue, very good segue. I'm good at segues. Jonathan Phelps, oh my gosh, the Jesse daycare is incoming. Good thing I have extra bed. I would love to be able to hang out with all the, tea customers. That's like my preferred way to travel. Especially because I've been like a stand-up comedian my whole life, and so I've done tons of traveling alone. So generally I don't go on vacation per se. I usually extend whoever is already paying for me to come to a place by a couple days, and that's how I have my vacation. But it also means that I travel alone all the time. Also, I don't have a girlfriend, which is something I need to be working on. It's always easier to drink tea than go on those apps. I hate the dating apps, people. I know this is not an original bit, but I just hate the dating apps. Yeah, it'd be fun to like meet actual people if I were to go to a place like Europe, especially somewhere where I might know a couple people, but I might only know a couple friends of mine, and 2 friends in Denmark and a couple friends in England, and one friend in Spain. Like I don't know that many people there. Schweisler says the northern Germany is a great tea culture. That's cool. I gotta check out Germany. Never been there before. Also, maybe safer to be a Jew in Germany now than in the States, which is nuts. Question from Eon. If I'm drinking something like a tea orange and do not want 10 steeps, can I dry it and save it for later? I wouldn't advise that because one, it could get moldy. It's not going to be as good. The other reason is because the flavor is just not going to be as good when it's redone. I've had it before. What kind of happens is you get one really intense steep when you re-steep it, and then it just dies. I think a better use of it is to cold brew it. I made videos, but if you have any sort of bottle like this, throw the orange in there, fill it with room temperature water, put it in your fridge, and a day later you'll have a good cold brew. And I think that's a much better use of your mostly used up tea leaves than trying to dry them and saving them for later. That's definitely, I think that's definitely true. So I'll stay on here a little bit longer. Just always glad to be able to have people over here. Questions over here. Flat Raised 91 says, why Chinese people like to tap or knock on the table when being served tea? That is a great question. So for those of you who don't know, if you're being served tea, the polite thing to do is to tap twice on the table to say thank you. And there's a story for why this came about. It's probably apocryphal, but everybody tells the same story, so I'll tell the story. The story is that one of the emperors was getting tired of being stuck up in the Forbidden City. And so even though nobody else gets into the Forbidden City, the emperor also doesn't like leave. So the Forbidden City was kind of in some ways a little bit like a jail, and a lot of the emperors chafed about this. And so the story goes that one day the emperor said, I want to pretend to be a merchant and I want to get out of the Forbidden City. And so the emperor and only one of his counselors hit the road, and they were going around, and they saw a farmer, and the farmer invited these two merchants in on the road for tea. And so the emperor and his minister in disguise go in and start having tea. At some point, the farmer gets up and leaves and said, oh, I need to go work. You can now pour the tea for each other. Like, you don't need to sit here and not have tea while I'm there. You can pour. And he points to the emperor. And then so he goes and sits, and so eventually it's the farmer and the minister, and the emperor is serving them tea. So the minister is having this tea poured for him by the emperor. And normally if the emperor is going to pour your tea, you would kowtow completely and get on the ground and show massive respect. But if he did that, he would blow the cover and people would know that it was the emperor. So instead what he did is he took his fingers and he mimed the motion of kowtowing to the emperor with the fingers. And that kind of eventually emerged into this sort of tap thing. And that's a story that gets told. I don't know exactly, but I was there for so many years now that even at an American restaurant, if I'm just at a burger place and they come over and fill my water, I kind of just like tap as a thank you. I can't stop it anymore. It's just been conditioned in. So very, very cool. Can we get a sneak peek of the tea cloth? Let me see if I have a picture of it. I don't have any of them because they haven't arrived yet, but let me see if I have a, oh, I don't have WeChat on this phone. My phones are here. So unfortunately the answer is no. I can't show you a sneak preview of it. But they're gonna be coming in 4 colors. So they're on their way. They're on their way. Very, very cool. Awesome. You know what? I think I'm probably about done for today. It's nice out today, and I don't know why they did this, but they have daylight savings time. They moved all the timing forward. So I have like 2.5 hours of daylight left, and it's such a nice day out. I haven't been outside. I'm gonna get going. Have a good time, guys. Hope you enjoyed the live stream. For those of you who have not yet bought your Christmas gifts, please do consider going to jessecels.com and getting something on the shop as a gift, either for yourself or for a friend. Again, the teacup sets that I'm using now, the calligraphy bird teacup set is a great choice. You know, they come in this beautiful box. Very nice gift to give anybody who loves tea. They're nice enough to just display. And then finally, before I go, I'm gonna drink that first steep. I like that. This tea has some really good plummy flavor. I'm gonna see if I can get this aged another year or two and try another sample of it, because I think I really would like it. So that's a way to do. So again, thank you all very much. Hope you have a good time. Rose says I have the Da Hong Pao, lovely stuff. Thank you so much. It's similar to what I'm drinking right now. So it's definitely good times had by all. Thank you again so much, everybody. Have a great weekend and have a great week coming up. You know, holiday season's almost here, so enjoy yourselves, see your friends, enjoy some good teas. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.